Now, there is somebody who has ties to both Alabama and Georgia's programs in the past in building it. Marty Smith has more on him.
Laura, former Alabama and Georgia strength and conditioning coach Scott Cochran rewrote the image and the importance of that position. He won a lot, 8 national championships. He basked in the glow and the glory of everything that comes with that. But what was happening in the darkness made him feel like a fraud.
As a strength coach for so long, I always told players to have a purpose when they wake up, you know? And now my purpose is way different. In the past, it was chasing championships. Now my purpose is to be healthy and to go help somebody else.
For the first fall in 18 years, Scott Cochran is not on a football sideline. Instead, he is lowering the tone of his trademark booming voice to educate and inspire in team rooms across the country.
This is who I am now, right? I'm gonna help others, and I'm gonna try to be the best husband and father I can be.
When Nick Saban took the Alabama job in 2007, he hired Cochran to run the strength and conditioning program.
Give me that, give me that. Oh, I can't get it. Yeah, that's my ball. Yeah!
In 2012, the man affectionately known as Coach Yeah was screaming so loudly and so often during workouts that he says he was left with splitting pain near his temples that would not subside.
Get it out of here! I started getting migraines really bad from screaming like a vice, cranking. And I remember early on the doc saying, just don't scream. I was like, okay, you try not breathing, doc.
After blood thinners didn't work, Cochran says a doctor prescribed him with Vicodin, a narcotic that can be addictive. When that didn't work, extended release Oxycontin was prescribed.
I'm not gonna get addicted to something, come on. I'm winning. I'm winning everything. I'm financially successful. Life is too good for something like that. So I'll be fine. Sure enough, I had to get more and more and more. By the time 2020 comes, I'm like, okay, I gotta put this down. I gotta stop.
In February of 2020, Scott Cochran left Alabama to join Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia as special teams coordinator.
COVID hits and puts me away from the game, and I double the intake of how much I'm taking. So now I'm up to 20, 25 pills a day. And that's when April 10th, 2020, my wife found me.
He was doing video work upstairs, and I found him, and he was kind of like slumped over, just not really responsive. And so I tried to kind of like rouse him up, and I couldn't get him. But yeah, then I called 911.
Paramedics administered multiple narcotic blockers to reverse Cochran's opioid overdose and save his life. Cochran says he woke up in a hospital 2 days later. Once released, he made his first trip to Heron Wellness, a recovery center in Seekonk, Massachusetts. Cochran says he did not alert anyone at Georgia.
I did 28 days. I was free, right? I didn't need it anymore. COVID lifted, went back to work, and I lasted about 2 months until I pick up again.
I knew he was still having a hard time, but he just wasn't ready to be open about it. The way I see it, in order to kill addiction is you have to live in the light. Like, you have to live in the truth. And if you're not going to tell everybody what you're dealing with, it just feeds. The darkness feeds.
No longer with access to doctors who could provide him with Oxycontin, Cochran turned to drug dealers who sold him fentanyl, an opioid 100 times stronger than morphine. Cochran returned to rehab in July of 2021 and was advised to stay 100 days. Scott Cochran could could no longer keep his secret.
So I called Kirby, and he was blown away. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I've been having this problem, and I need real help this time. I said, you hired a drug addict.
Cochran says Smart was fully supportive of his recovery and visited him in rehab about a month later. By the 2022 season, Cochran says he was clean, and that continued into the 2023 season. In the lead-up to Georgia's December 30th bowl game, Sissy says she knew Scott was struggling again.
My wife grabbed me at the bowl game, literally grabbed my face and said, I know you are struggling. This can be our last football game.
Cochran resigned from Georgia 6 weeks later to focus on his sobriety. Now, the man known for that voice uses it for a greater purpose, to share his story.
And that's why I'm in front of you now, is because recovery is real. I'm 7 months yesterday, so y'all give me some real love on that 7 months.
I think Scott has so much to offer the world, and I'm glad that he's still here. Maybe that's what God's given him this voice for, is now to be the voice for recovery.
So I'm here to help in any way you need. I got no judgment on me. The opposite of addiction is connection. And so if we can get people out of that shame and guilt cycle, there's gonna be a lot more recovery, and that's gonna save lives.
At the height of his usage, Cochran told me he was snorting 50 pills a day. He tells me he's been clean and sober for 8 months. Cochran founded the American Addiction Recovery Association to save lives, restore families, and strengthen communities. Empowerment, purpose, and belonging are now the reason and the purpose for that booming voice. Bring in Tim Tebow now, who's known Scott Cochran for a really long time. When you watch what he's managed, what do you see?
Well, I first want to just say I'm proud of him, proud of you. Thank you for doing that piece. But nothing good happens in isolation. And asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. And when we're able to bring that into the light and that darkness and light meet, light wins every single time. And you know, in watching Coach Cochran's story, who's been such a good friend to me, is you see someone that's been freed from this addiction, and you know what free people do? Free other people. And I just want to say I'm just so proud of him for his mindset, for his heart, for his willingness to say, you know what, this is something I'm battling with, and I'm asking for help. And so many people have rallied to him, and you know, we had the ability to text with him this morning, and just saying how grateful I am, because thank you for writing this piece, because I know it's going to inspire a lot of other people to ask for help. And they'll be freeing other people, just like Coach Cochran is.
Well, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for sharing your perspective and the way you use your ministry and your heart, because you're helping so many people.
Proud of you, Coach
And
Cochran.
I'm really, really grateful to Scott and to Sissy for sharing their truth with us. Laura?
Incredible storytelling as always, Marty, and a powerful, powerful story today. We hope it affects anyone who needs help. We're so glad that you're here with us on Nation. And coming up next,